Okay, why do I keep saying black? Like my kids say, don't say black, we are brown skin, and I agree 100%. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If today is your first time coming, you want to consider subscribing for more interesting content. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for keeping it down for me. Thank you for always coming back, and I hope that you stick around. So you guys already know from the title what today's video is going to be about. Yes, my experience being black in Germany. So we've been living in Germany, for those of you who do not know, for the past 6+ years now. So everything I'm going to say in this video are strictly my opinion and the things that I have experienced and the things that I have seen. So to make this video straightforward and short, I titled this under 10 small headings. So like 10 things that I experienced here in Germany being black. Number 1, racism and stereotypism. Yes, I thought about that. Should that be number 1 or not? But who cares? Racism is something that is happening everywhere in the world, and not only in Germany, but on a general level, I think Germans are very tolerant of other people, migrants, living in Germany. Based on my experience, like I haven't had any major experience until last year. So in the past 5 years I've been living here, except for those subtle smirks from people, subtle and those looks that they give you from time to time, which I believe is quite normal. I'm not in any way excusing why people would just hate others for no just cause. No, that's not what I'm doing, but I'm just saying that sometimes Germans could be, you get what I mean? But on the average, Germans are quite tolerant of other people. So racism isn't something I'm going to be talking a lot about because I think Germans are quite tolerant. But stereotypism, oh my goodness, have I experienced something? You bet. So since we've been in Germany, I think there's a thing about being black here. Because there are a lot of black people who live here. Okay, why do I keep saying black? Like my kids say, don't say black, we are brown skin, and I agree 100%. So like brown skin people or people of African descent who live here that I know, some of them or majority of them have asylum status, like they came in and sought asylum here and all of that, and were at some point in their life under the social system. So a typical German looks at you and the first assumption is, oh, this one is dependent on the system. But there are a lot of Africans here who are struggling, who are in school, who are studying for different levels of degrees. Like for us, we are experts here in Germany. Like we came here for studies, and there's so many experts living here in Germany. So it doesn't make sense that they look at you and because of your skin color, they just assume that, oh, this one is dependent. And then if you have a lot of kids, like I have 3 children, and for some people that's a lot, and for some other people, well, that's so they look at you and like, okay, so the government pays money on all of these children, or you're dependent. You understand what I mean? But we have never been under the German social system since we've been living here, so people don't know that, and I think that's just sheer ignorance. So most of them do not know that. So that is one thing we have experienced here. So number 2 thing I'm going to talk about is the stares. Like when you walk on the street, people look at you. People look at you like initially when we just came, it was like I was so uncomfortable. Like, you guys never seen someone with my skin color or what? Like you must be living in 10 centuries before now, because I don't get it. Like it's 2014, like that was when we moved to Germany. But even up to now, some people just look. But I know that some people, for some people, it's coming from a place of sincere ignorance. They haven't really been close to people who are of African descent or people who have brown skin, so they just look at you like, yes, it's very true. Some people have probably don't even have friends who have brown skin or have never really come in contact with. There have been times where people say, oh, can I touch your hair? Maybe I have braids on, or I even have my natural hair. They just want to know what it feels like, and I oblige sometimes because I see that it's coming from a place of sincerity. Some other people just want to, you know, scoff and maybe make scorn you or something like that, but I have never really experienced that. I just see people who sincerely just want to know what it feels like to be like. So maybe when they touch you, they're like, oh, you're just like us, you know. So I think that most African children who are in the kindergarten will have so many experience about that. Like my son always tells me when he was much younger in the kita that the children will always ask him, can I have a feel of what your hair is like? You know, he might have been the first person that they are coming really close to. So I also excuse them, but this does happen, and that's something I have experienced. Okay, so number 3 thing on my list is German bureaucracy. Boy, like in Germany, everything has a process. Like there is due process for everything, and you need to go through a lot of processes sometimes. Like you get notified about everything. Like paperwork here is crazy. I tell you, you have to be brave to be in Germany. Like before, okay, when we got into Germany, you know, the first thing you need to do is to go to the city council, get yourself registered, you know, your house address registered. And before you even get your house address, you know, before you even get to lease an accommodation, you need to get a bank account, and for the bank account you need to get like your address. So you know, everything is like intertwined. I pretty much like it because it gives you like a database of people who live here, which is missing in the country where I'm coming from. But I think that it's so stressful. Like everything, you just need to go. You know, sometimes you have to go for certain appointments, some things that I think that you could easily just do them on the internet and all of that, but they take extra steps for them. So it's a lot of paperwork going down here. It's a lot of, you know, formalities and all of that in Germany. Okay, so the 4th thing on my list is the German language. Okay, you want to live in Germany? I think your number 1 ticket of successfully thriving in Germany is to learn the German language. Yes, I know that there are jobs you can do in English. Like most young Germans speak English. A couple of old people also I have met speak English, you know, so it's unwritten, but English, of course, English is like the world language, and so in Germany it's like the 2nd formal language here. But Germans try as hard as they can to keep their language going. So if you really want to integrate into the system, you need to learn the language. And boy, is the language hard? Yes. Yes. The language is hard. We've been here 6 years. I have been to school. You know, I have written language exams, and to a certain degree, I have a good understanding of the language, and I speak it also. And I tell you the truth that Germans light up when you speak their language to them. Like, people would feel more comfortable around you if you speak the language. They feel like, oh, you're really integrated. And there's no integration in Germany if you don't at least speak the language. So if you're thinking of moving to Germany, the language, yes. So the next thing on my list is food supplies and cosmetics. So African food supplies, I mean. So when we moved to Germany, it took me a while to adjust to the German system, to like the food and all of that. And I am ashamed, but I am still not adjusted. Like, I eat like I am in Nigeria. I tell you the truth. I don't cook like German meals. There are a couple of meals that I cook here that are quite German, but in my house, really, it's very African. So before, you know, getting all of those supplies are not easy because you don't go into a typical German store to get them. So Germans do not produce with Africans in mind. Like most of the things you eat, like hair products and body lotions and all of that, they ship from the US. In Germany, there are no products, you know, that you say are you know, designed for Africans. And so if you want to purchase these products, you have to go to specialized shops like Afro shops, and there are also Asian shops where you can get some of these products. So if you want to buy all of those things, you need to go to those Afro shops. So I live a couple of minutes away from the big city of Berlin. So if I need to buy any of those products, I need to travel to Berlin 3 hours to and fro to purchase those products. So this is my experience, and I didn't quite find it funny. It's still not funny, but we live and we go. We just go and we just go. Yeah, so the number 16 I want to talk about is that there is a large African community in Germany, guys. I didn't know it. Before we moved to Germany, I didn't know anyone that lived in Germany. So I'm just trying to say that I didn't know so much about Germany before I moved here. So it was like, you were sure to meet Africans in the UK. You were sure to meet a whole lot of Africans in the United States of America. I knew a couple of people who live there, I mean in both places. But Germany, I had no idea until we came. And surprisingly, there are a lot of Africans who live here. Yes, yes, yes. There's a large African society here, a lot of Nigerians and Cameroonians, Kenyans. In fact, so many African countries are represented here in Germany. So that for me is, you know, you have that sense of belonging, so to say. You have that feeling of being a part of something. Like, you don't feel like you're away from home. Knowing that there are a lot of Africans here just gives me that push to go. So the 7th point I want to talk about is that Germans do not warm up to people easily. Please, nobody should come for me. Yes, I say that on a general note, but really I have a lot of nice Germans who are my friends and even neighbors who my kids go out and play with and hang around, and families, you know, that we have met around here who are quite, you know, nice and friendly to us. But on a general note, Germans are very straightforward people, and time is always of the essence. Like, when you meet Germans, they don't have time to sit down and begin to exchange pleasantries with you. Like in Nigeria, when you meet people and you go, hey, how's your family, how's this, is that, they're always like on the run. So anytime you meet them, it's like, you better just be fast, and they go, you know. Like, I have had experiences of people who I have had conversations with them, like long conversations, and then the next time you see them, they just blink an eye at you. And that's the hello. Like, I don't get it. Like, for them, it's not a relationship. Like, they don't easily warm up to you, and it was strange for you to call them your friends, you know. They are acquaintances. They know you. Maybe your kids are friends, but they don't take it beyond that surface level. So with Germans, you just have to be careful and know where the boundaries are. Sometimes it's hard for me because I easily just warm up and get comfortable with people, and so a bit of disappointment here and there, but yes, I have learned to adjust, and that is what you get here. Yes, let's talk education, German education system. So the 8th thing on my list is education in Germany compared to where I'm coming from. One of the shocks I received being here is the fact that in Germany, their education system is totally different from where I'm coming from Nigeria. So in Germany, you have to be 6 years to go to school. There's a party. It's a big, grand celebration. So your earlier years, the earlier years of your life, is to play, just enjoy yourself, you know, play until when it's time for serious work. And boy, do I like this new idea. Yes, it conflicted a little bit because I had my kids, 2 of my kids in Nigeria before we moved here, and one of them already started school. No, he hadn't started school. He was in nursery school, but you know what nursery school is in Nigeria are like. Nursery schools in Nigeria are like you're already in primary school. My son was offering so many subjects, like the minimum will be 8. You know, so many things that they were cramming here and there, and he was so young. Like, we moved here when he was 5, but here in Germany it's fixed. Your child has to be 6, and it depends on the month your child is born. You know, the school year starts in September and your child isn't 6 years yet. If he's going to be 6 in 3 months, he has to wait for next year. So by the time he's getting to school, he's almost like 7, and that's what happened to my son. To be honest, I love the German education system because I tried that out with my second child, my daughter. Because with my son, when I came, it was a little bit hard for me to adjust. So we had to do a lot of unlearning and accepting the new system. And yes, it took a toll on him, but he's getting, you know, through that phase. For my daughter, we came here when she was like 2 3/4. I think she was almost 3 years old then. So after we came and I realized that the system was like this, I just took a step back and relaxed and allowed her to enjoy her life. You know, from 3 years, my son was already learning to, you know, memorize 3-letter words and all of that. 4 years and all. No. My daughter started learning how to read at 5 years old. I did that. I just went out of my way because I was like, why wait till she's already in primary school? You understand? So I just taught her to sound, and she picked it just before she got into school. And she was born in September, so she got into school before she turned 6, just a few weeks before she turned 6. She was quite fast. She was the youngest in her class, and she's doing quite well. So I was glad that I didn't burden her. So the German education system for me is good, and this, you know, it was not what I was used to, but I adjusted. And yeah. So number 9 thing on my list is the fact that in Germany there's something called Gleichberechtigung. That means equal rights for men and women. You guys know that in Africa up to today it's still a struggle. Like, men feel like they own women. And don't get it wrong, I'm a Christian and I understand also in the grand plan of God that there's a place for a man and a place for a woman. Yes, but I believe in that mutual respect for men and women. And in Germany, guys, women and men are seen equally. Yeah, because they're humans, and in the sight of God, they are humans. You know, it's just that misconception that people feel a place of a woman is in the kitchen. I think that women are built with an extra thing. You know that women can multitask and do a lot of things at the same time. So it's easy to say, okay, a woman can take care of a home and also go out to fend for the family. Do you know there are some stay-at-home husbands here in Germany? Like, the wives are the ones who work. So it's an understanding, it's a thing of understanding and that mutual respect thing. I feel like anybody can contribute to the family. If you have younger children, one person might have to be home more to care for them, and then maybe one person does the work, and it can be any one of you two. Do you understand? Sometimes the men can do the grinding and all of that, and it's totally fine, and women will still also feel that, you know, level of not like they're being segregated or like they're being looked down upon, especially if they are in sync. Like, he goes to work and we decide on what happens with the income because it's our money, not that he goes to work and says, okay, I went to work, I'm the one earning, without realizing that somebody else is doing the work behind. So everything is being shared equally here. So if you go to work, or if both of us are working, then chores are shared among both of us. So men don't sit down and say, oh, my wife has to come and cook, especially if both of them go out to work and then they come back. You have to find a way to sort something out for yourself. So the last but not the least, the last thing on my list is fashion. So if you guys know anything about Africans, you know we're very colorful people. We like color, glamour, fashion, weddings, parties, and all of that. When I moved to Germany, I realized that Germans are not exactly very fashionable people. They are neat, don't get me wrong. And there's some Germans that go all out, they match the shoes, the jackets, and all of that. I'm also not a fashionable person. So I'm just picking for Africans in general. Because it's when I go to church, like, there's some people that they love to dress. You understand? You find that in a Sunday in church. I also dressed, you know, to church when I was in Nigeria. You know, very elaborate and all of that. But that's because I used to be mobile, you know, I could drive myself to church, but I don't expect that I dress with all of those things and get on the street and I have to walk, maybe with heels and all of that. You know, I see that happens also here. I hardly wear heels here. So when I'm thinking of going to church, I'm thinking of wearing something very comfortable. Do you understand? Because we do not own a car here in Germany. So I'm thinking of something very comfortable. And you don't even go on the street and see people being all that extra. You understand? So with that, I just adjusted nicely. It's my style. It's my way of life. So I love the German system. It helped me. I'm sitting pretty here because it's my kind of system. Everything is like so toned down. There's no pressure from anywhere. Nobody's pressurizing you to go over and above to impress anyone, and it's just perfect for me. So these are the 10 things that I decided to talk about in this video. And a little disclaimer that these are all my opinions. If you have a contrary opinion, feel free and leave me a comment at the comment section, and we will continue the discussion there. So thank you. If you liked this video and if it was informative, entertaining, whatever it was to you, give me a thumbs up. Stick around for more interesting content, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.